How we doing, guys? And welcome back to another episode of the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast. It's our wild card weekend breakdown of what has gone down. Currently, right behind me, the Baltimore Ravens and Cincinnati Bengals are in a very tight matchup. Ravens are holding their own without the services of Lamar Jackson. We'll see if that can continue. It's been proven today that you can hang around without your starting quarterback. We're going to go over each and every game, and with me today, or tonight, I should say, Mr. Brett Bandick down in the bottom window, and alongside me, my guy, Mr. Idris Salam. How you doing, boys?
Hey, Big Blue.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. It should have been a lot louder. That's the first dub you've had in the playoffs in how many years, man? I'm expecting a little more.
Big Blue, baby. How's that?
There you go.
It's coming. Don't worry. It's coming, and that's actually where we're starting. We're going to start with the Giants and work our way back. On to Philly, how the New York Giants handed the Vikings, the 13-win Vikings, their first loss in a one-score game. Going into this game, the Vikings were 11-0 in one-score matchups. I got to say, it starts with the guy that so many prognosticators were against. That's number 8, Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, prior to this, his best game of his career was against these same Vikings on Christmas Eve in a losing effort. Tonight, things went a little differently. He is the first quarterback to rush for over 70 yards, throw for 3 touchdowns, throw for 300 yards, throw for 2 touchdowns. Saquon Barkley surprisingly did not have the snap share in terms of carries. The Giants did things a little differently here. They were pass first, and the pass essentially opened up the run. On the defensive side of the ball, I got to give credit where it's due. They played a coverage where they made sure that the Vikings could not get behind them. They wanted the Vikings to have to earn every yard, move down the field. And to the Vikings' credit, for most of the game, it really was back and forth. But the difference in this game ultimately is the Giants forced 2 4-and-outs against the Vikings, whereas the Giants only punted once. That was the difference in this game. The final 2 series, the Giants were able to make Kirk Cousins uncomfortable, get rid of the ball a little quicker than he wanted to. Hawkinson hurt us. I expected that to a level. But I wouldn't say bottle up, but to limit Justin Jefferson from doing what he did in that first game was the key. Win did not come without a price. Giants lost Justin Pinnock, special teams guy who's been doing really good, and even in the absence of Xavier McKinney, stepped up in a big way. Giants also lost Azeez Ojulari to a quad injury. Azeez just hasn't been right all year. It's very unfortunate because the kid is so good when he plays. 5.5 sacks in less than 5 games played, which shows that the kid, when he plays, is effective. But it's on to Philly, a team that the Giants have lost to twice in 2 completely different ways. Beating the first time in Jersey, truly a beating where Philly just outclassed and pushed around the Giants. That was an undermanned Giants squad. Game 2, I think it was a nice confidence builder. The Giants played without 19 starters in that game, and they were able to hang around to the tune of a 1-score loss with Davis Webb making his first career start. This is a team that's believing right now. A team that, I'm not going to BS nobody. I'm a Giants fan. I'm a realist. I'm supposed to pick Philly next week. I might. Maybe I won't. But what I will say is the Giants are going to compete next week, and Philly does have quite the fight in front of them. It's very hard to beat a team 3 times in the NFL. Brett, I'll start with you. That way we don't go blue twice. I'll end it with Idris. So, I don't want to overwhelm Brett off the jump. Brett, your thoughts on the Giants' first playoff win since Super Bowl 46?
Well,
part of a decade.
I was actually waiting for Idris to go because I was kind of I had a feeling he might go after you, but no, I like that change. DJ had to play a damn near perfect game to win this thing, and he did. I mean, the first half was. The stats are there. Kirk, he had a solid game too. He was 9 for 9. DJ was 7 for 7, something like that. the first couple of drives, I mean, they were both playing solid. It came down to third down execution, and what drove me nuts about the whole game was you have Justin Jefferson, the number one wide receiver in the league, and the most yards of record of all time Vikings history.
Mm-hmm.
And you're telling me you could not devise a game plan to get this guy open. The entire fourth quarter, it drove me nuts. The entire fourth quarter, you're telling me you couldn't somehow get this guy involved, whether it be an end around, whether it be a screenplay, a quick pass play. They weren't even looking for him the last 10 minutes of the game.
Well,
I think those are the most important minutes of the game, and it drove me nuts. Like, granted, I wanted to see you guys win because I'm your boy, you know what I mean? But like, I didn't see anything thrown towards his direction the last 10 minutes of the game. Tell me how that happens.
I think it was by design in the sense that the Giants wanted to make sure that anybody was going to beat them other than Jefferson. You saw it on the Osborne play where they took Jefferson out, but unfortunately Xavier McKinney was a little slow to get into Osborne. You saw it with Hawkinson. You take away the first read. Jefferson didn't have a bad game, but towards the end of the game, I think the Giants did an exceptional job of honing in on him. And it also helps when the pass rush is starting to catch up to Cousins because Wink did not hit those blitz packages early. They hit Kirk Cousins, but he was able to get rid of the ball, make the plays, and you got to give him credit. He made some really difficult throws. But in the end, I think that the offensive line of the Vikings was starting to get tired, and I think they were showing the battle scars of what the Giants did to them for the first three quarters. Because sometimes when you win a fight, like I'll make a boxing analogy, for instance, it's not necessarily the most violent-looking punch that gets you the win. It's just a repetition of a constant beatdown. And I think what happened here is that in the end, when it came down to physical time, the Giants were the bigger dog in the fight there. And I think that's what did it. But to your point, yeah, you got to do a better job of getting him the ball.
You got to get your playmaker involved. And I don't care. Yeah, I don't care what kind of play call it is, man. Like, you got to get him involved. Screen passes, end arounds, jet sweeps. Something to get him involved and get the ball moving. And I feel that they didn't do it.
I feel that the Vikings, after getting stopped early in the game on that cute little play that they tried when Jefferson threw it back to Cousins and it was a busted play, I feel that Kevin O'Connell kind of dipped away from some of those extra special plays that they do keep in their playbook. And what I found surprising is that the Giants were the guys. They did a Statue of Liberty play where DJ faked it to Saquon and just kind of went behind the back to Matt Breida. That was creative. And it wasn't the biggest gain, but when you do shit like that, you're opening it up for a play action down the field. At the end of the day, the reason the Giants won this game is because our offense was just a little better than theirs. And our defense made enough plays at the end after making many adjustments because the Giants – We're honestly on their heels for a decent chunk of the game, and it shows why the Vikings did win 13 games. I mean, they have a very potent offense. Idris, what are your thoughts on what we saw today?
I think it was an extension of the first time we played them. We played them a good game the first time, but we made a lot of mistakes because we should have won that game.
Yes, we did.
Made a lot of mistakes. Then we got hit on a 60-plus yard field goal, which nothing new to us. It seems like it happens every year with us. With this game,
even Graham Gano got us when he was with Carolina.
Yeah, that was 63. So
me and Bretsky saw that happen in the Meadowlands. Yeah, good point.
That hurt.
Yeah,
but I think Mike Kafka called a good game today.
Certainly did.
He got DJ going left, right, up the middle. Saquon didn't get the carries he usually gets, but he was effective in the passing game. Mm-hmm. We got him in the ball in space. And, once you give him the ball in space, it's a mismatch. And he ran hard. Of course, Hodgins came up again, big as he usually does.
What more can you say about this guy? I mean, This guy was on Buffalo's practice squad when the season started, and he didn't even join the Giants until the midway point.
And the thing about
Who would have thought that he would be this big of a contributor?
Right. And today was the first time he didn't catch a pass. I mean, he had a drop pass, but it wasn't a good pass to throw to him anyway. But the guy is hands on.
I'm not gonna lie. When was it about 3.5 minutes left to go in the game. Mm-hmm. Was it Slayton that dropped the ball on that?
Slayton.
Yeah, we win the game right then and there. He could have walked to the and he had a great game too. Yeah, that's why that one stuck.
That was one of those moments where it was either okay, look, the defense is going to come through, or that play just ruined him.
I think
you know what I mean. So it was like, and he had the first down. If he would have caught it, he would have had the first down, and that would have ended the game completely.
And
but then it came down to
picked him up.
It came down to the defense picking him up, and I mean that's
which is only right because the offense carried the defense today, so it's only right.
You know, Richie James came through. He's been playing big time. Mm-hmm. The defense, I think that middle rush we have, Leonard Williams and Dexy, they wear you down. Then you have
indeed, and you sprinkle in a little LC and a little Jalen Smith,
and you got K5 coming on the edge. I mean, you can wear down the offensive line because you have power on the inside. If you got speed on the outside, and
and you can't block everybody, and you can't commit a double team
to
anybody when those things are happening, and that's why losing Ojulari sucks.
Yeah,
because I just can't wait till we get everybody healthy. It's kind of like how I felt back in 2008 when OC hurt his knee, and we weren't able to pair him up with Tuck. Yeah. And this is coming off of a year when Strahan had just retired, but guys want to play, man. I think that is so indicative of the attitude of this team. Brian Dable going for it on 4th and short to continue that drive. Granted, to Brett's point, Slayton dropped a key pass that fortunately didn't lose us the game.
Yeah.
Moving forward.
Listen, anytime you have a quarterback the size of Josh Allen and you have a 4th and inches play, you go for it. You have, Saquon in the backfield ready to push you forward.
Yes, sir.
4th and inches play with the game on the line and the season on the line, you go for it. And
I gotta say,
I love that call by your coach.
Oh, pardon me, I'm sorry.
Technical difficulties.
What the hell was that?
Anyway,
I thought I was gonna have technical difficulties.
I don't know what happened.
That's
I don't know if this TV was on some kind of timer.
That is a great call by your head coach.
Yeah.
And it was perfectly executed. Even if he was stopped short, he would have pushed forward another yard. Just because he had not one but 2 guys pushing him ahead, and it was just perfect play calling. It was your style of ball that won the game. It was a great game played all around by the G-men. So I give you guys credit.
With Dable,
thank you.
Dable is a gambler, and it goes back to that first game against Tennessee when we went for the 2-point play.
Yeah.
And anytime we have 4th and 1 inches, I'm always saying he's going to go for it. He's going for it, and he does. And I like that because in previous leagues with Eli, we threw the ball a lot. And now we're getting back to New York football. Punch you in the mouth. And you use the boxing reference. And they were saying how Saquon Barkley, you jab, 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 and then boom, you knock him out. It's that punch they never see that knocks you out.
Saquon had a good run.
Yeah, he ran hard.
He had a good run.
Real hard.
That,
even on the small carries, defenses get tired.
Yeah,
of having to tackle these guys over the course of a 3-hour game. You see it. You've seen it on different teams this year. You've seen it in Tennessee with Derrick Henry. Granted, they missed the playoffs. You've seen it with Ramondre Stevenson in New England. These Josh Jacobs. What more can you say about that guy? And you see it with Philly with the litany of running backs that they deploy. You've seen it with Green Bay towards the end of the year when they tried to make a late push. But
it's with Saquon and DJ, I see them as Mr. Inside and Mr. Outside.
Indeed. That's a good analogy.
It's crazy, you know?
We saw it in Jacksonville on display. We saw it on display when you and I were sitting in the lower bowl.
Right.
And on that put-away drive.
Yeah.
And what I loved about what I saw from DJ today, and I can honestly say that I've been watching him since his first game when he replaced Eli against the Buffalo Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Then made his first start, a victory in Tampa. Mm-hmm. And he went through a lot of struggle. But today, for the first time in Daniel Jones's career, I could truly say that I felt that the game came to him, and that even on those running plays, he kind of exhibited that confidence where he's like, I'm going to get there. You're not going to stop me. And even though my stature might not say it, I'm the biggest guy on this field, and I'm going to show you. And when he got hit in the chin by Ken,
with the elbow,
and I mean nothing dirty about it. That's playoff football. But when you bounce back like that, and give that guy the snarl, the Balboa snarl, it says a lot about your character, and it says a lot about that these guys are going to run through a wall for you because you have finally arrived. And yes, he did take the long road there. Big applause to the New York Giants. And before we move on to the Buffalo game,
let me say one thing.
I just want to say, of course, you finish it out.
My favorite play of the game is when he ran and he stiff-armed Patrick Peterson.
Yes, early. That was big.
Yeah. I said, that's all I got to say on the game.
I mean, it wasn't exactly Brandon Jacobs running over Charles Woodson in the third coldest game in NFL history, but it was a nice
like
little,
that.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, that is a one-on-one play that your quarterback has to win. He won the battle.
And he won many of them today, most of them. And what I love about even late in the game, giving himself up for the sack, not forcing a chancy play. Yes, I'll be honest, he made one bad pass today that fortunately didn't get picked. Yeah. Outside of that, I can't say enough. I really cannot say enough about him. And I feel that style-wise, this is what you're going to see more of going into Philly. You're not going to out-physical the Eagles line for line. The way you beat the Eagles is you have to have the short pass game, the high-efficient pass game, open up your running game. And the Eagles have a fight on their hands. This is not going to be no gimme for the Eagles. We're going to find out who the 49ers play. We'll get into them in a little while. Keeping it in New York, Western New York. How about those Buffalo Bills, man? Scary. The biggest point spread in wild card history. And the Bills almost lost it. Josh Allen, similar to Trevor Lawrence, like these announcers know how to jinx guys.
You ain't good.
They were talking about how he hasn't thrown a pick. Lawrence the other day, 220 something.
Yeah.
Pick. Yeah. Same thing happened to Allen at the
4 picks.
Most critical time. Yeah, at the most critical time. I got to tip my hat to the losing team here because it's the last time we're going to talk about them this year. Yeah. The Miami Dolphins showed a lot of testicular fortitude hanging in there. You don't have your backup or your starter. I think it was a great growing experience for Skylar Thompson playing on the road in such an environment like Buffalo. Buffalo provides an environment that only a couple of stadiums in the league can really rival. I mean, you're talking Green Bay and probably Kansas City. And when the Browns are good, which is not very often, maybe Cleveland. But they do have a college atmosphere in Buffalo that makes that such a phenomenal place to watch a game at. And, you look at what this team went through. Emotionally, I think emotions ran them over the Pats last week. But for 2 consecutive weeks, I'm looking at a Bills team that still isn't playing crisp football. They're still making mistakes. Their defense clearly misses Von Miller. And my fear is this. These guys that are playing behind me right now, currently down 10-9, talking about the Bengals.
Yeah.
If the Bengals manage to win this game, even though the game's in Buffalo, going into the week, I think the Bengals present a lot of issues for these Bills because if Skylar Thompson was able to move the ball on you the way he did, what is Joe Burrow going to do to you? That's a scary thought.
Here's my issue with that. Is that, number one, Who has ever seen Thompson play?
Well, they got film on him. He's been playing this year.
No, not like that. You're not studying film against Mahomes and all these guys the way you're going to study film against Thompson.
Well, there's less material, but it's out there.
Yeah, but nobody's played against this guy. That's why it's so hard.
So at Kansas State, he was seen. He was Big 12.
But that's why it's so hard to defend against this guy, because you really don't know what this guy is going to bring. You don't know. You know what I mean? Like
I think Buffalo got comfortable.
No, I wouldn't say they got comfortable. They what's the correct word for it? They got cocky. Okay, I mean, I didn't see the same enthusiasm, the same certain mentality they brought against the Patriots the week before.
I didn't see that in the Patriot game either. I think you're giving them too much credit. I thought the Patriots outplayed them.
I do too.
This week was different. I don't know. It was a weird feeling.
It looked like a continuation of the Patriot game.
Granted, they had a 17 nothing lead. They let them back in it. And Miami took the lead early in the third quarter. And then Buffalo didn't look back. So it is what it is. Buffalo won the game. They won a home game. Now they have another home game. So this game for me against Miami was, I'll be honest, I think if you had a healthy Tua playing this game,
they don't win.
Yeah.
I think Buffalo loses this game. I'll be honest.
I don't like what I've seen from them
as much as I was bagging on Tua at the beginning of the year. He provides a better chance for them to win than this Thompson guy.
Statistically, he was on pace to go with Dan Marino.
It is, it is what it is. But I mean, how many passes did Waddle drop?
Hey, with Thompson,
how many passes did that guy drop today?
Dropped a lot. With Thompson, if you watch Big 12 football, you saw Thompson play. He played against Oklahoma.
And he had a handful of starts this year, too.
Yeah. Also,
because Teddy Bridgewater got hurt as frequently as Tua.
Yeah. And see, with Thompson, he's the last quarterback pick before Brock Purdy.
That's correct.
Also, with Thompson, I think Tua would have won. But see, the knock on Tua has not been can he throw the ball. It's can he stay healthy? He's always hurt.
Yeah, but that's been his MO.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He's never stayed healthy.
That's what I mean. Had he played today, Buffalo would have got blown out the water.
I wouldn't say blown out of the water.
Well, not blown out the water, but they would have been handled. I think they would have came.
No, I'm with Idris on that because Buffalo's defense did not impress me today.
Right.
They did not impress me at all.
This guy put 31 points on them.
They made a lot of mistakes today, and I'm saying you cannot make those same mistakes against the Kansas Cities and the Cincinnatis.
Of course, see, with Miami, if Tua plays, you think they go down 17-0? No.
Hell no.
Remember Miami had a turnover early, and they got down. Tua doesn't make that mistake. Waddle
3 games this year decided by every game was 3-point difference.
What drove me nuts, dude, and I was with Richie on this one. There was at least 2 or 3 balls that Waddle was thrown to, and they were 30-plus yard.
That first one,
completions that should have been made.
The first should have been made.
And he dropped all 3 of them. I mean, those are 30-plus yard plays that could have changed the game.
That kid played good this year. I mean, today he played very good.
He did, man. But today, I don't know what happened, man. He just. I don't know. It was weird for me to watch.
Oh no, it's a timing thing too. That's not his quarterback. It's not his quarterback. Thing. It's a lot of things.
Yeah, it is.
Well, the ball was in his hands.
Yeah,
I get it, Brett. But you know
what they say: a left-handed thrower throws a ball different than a right-handed.
I know. I'm a lefty, bro. I know. I'm a lefty. I know.
But people said when they caught the ball from Montana, it would come one way, but when they caught it from Young, it was another way.
They caught it from Steve Young. It was different.
Yeah, same with Michael Vick.
Yeah.
So certain quarterbacks have certain
spin.
Yeah, with the
certain rotation.
But my ultimate takeaway from this, the Buffalo Bills have not looked good for 2 consecutive weeks after not being able to finish the game because of the DeMar Hamlin situation against the Bengals. And to be honest, before the Hamlin heart attack, the Bengals were outplaying them too. So if I'm the Bills, I'm a little concerned right now.
Yeah.
You have to play a lot better. And another thing that I want to say that Miami did well in this game that I've been on them all year about, they ran the ball a lot better.
Yeah.
Today they actually committed to the run.
They did.
And I want to say something about people when I had always said Josh Allen. You heard me say Josh Allen was Daniel Jones in his first year, and I say look at the
It's a valid comparison.
Daniel Jones had a better season than Josh Allen his first year, and I keep saying no. I said look at the stats. Josh Allen was throwing interceptions and everything else.
We ran the West Coast offense that year.
Mm-hmm. And the problem Josh Allen has had throughout his career is turnovers. It didn't look bad because they were always winning, but it's the
gunslinger mentality.
Right, Josh Allen turns the ball.
He has a Brett Favre slinger thing.
Right, he turns the ball over a lot. He fumbles a lot, but it gets masked because they win. But he turns the ball over a lot.
I'm telling you right now, they do not beat that team behind me, assuming that they win tonight.
No,
I think at some point they're going to separate themselves. Right now, this is a tight game, and I said it before. You play a team a third time. It's always difficult. These guys split behind me. No Lamar tonight. The Ravens have a top 10 defense, so I expect that they're going to compete.
Right. Is it me, or does Joe Cool look like a 30-year-old Macaulay Culkin?
Yeah.
It's not stuff that
I never thought about it, but they do favor, though.
Like, you ever see, you know what I mean? Like, you know how they put the pictures up, before the game starts? They do. Say, hey, I'm Joe Burrow from blah, blah, blah.
He does.
And he's got the curls and shit.
He does. I never noticed that.
Macaulay Culkin.
He does like Macaulay Culkin, though.
Well, Macaulay might be sending the Bills home next week if the Bills don't tighten up. Tale of two halves.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, after having probably the worst first half in the history of professional football's playoffs, turns it around. There are so many side stories and takeaways from this. I'm going to start with the winning team. When they got that late touchdown at the end of the half to make it 27-20 and finally get on the board, what I noticed is that Doug Peterson was just so calm and basically was not worried about the moment. You're talking about a Super Bowl winning coach formerly with Philadelphia.
I want to ask you about that because I know if it was 27 when I came back, it was 20. Did they get that rare 1-point play?
You're talking about
no? They went for 2 and missed it.
Okay, what? Okay,
hold up. You're talking about why was it 27 and not 28? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, because I missed. I didn't. I missed that score.
Oh, it wasn't a combo. It wasn't a combo of 4 touchdowns. It was 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was like.
But speaking of going for 2, Jacksonville did go for 2 later in the game.
Right.
Which ultimately led to that 1-point difference. Okay, Jacksonville, and you saw it in the game we went to, they do like to go for 2.
Yeah.
They tried that against us early in our matchup. What I saw here is, first and foremost, if Sean Payton's on the market, which he is, and if I'm the Los Angeles Chargers, I'm trying to bring him in the building. I think Brandon Staley proved his limitations. This is the second year in a row that his coaching has cost the Chargers. Last year, a trip to the playoffs. This year, a playoff win. Justin Herbert, I can't really get on him for this because I wholeheartedly believe the play calling got way too conservative. This is a team that all year long has struggled running the ball. Austin Eckler had the kind of year he had because of his ability to catch the ball. And they, similarly to what the Giants did today, all year long, were the kind of offense that passes to open up the run. Not having Mike Williams, not being able to stretch out the defense, I think gave Jacksonville the confidence to go man-to-man and not feel the need to double-team anyone. Early on, I'm not even going to say that it was the Jacksonville defense that got burned. I think it was just their inability to hold on to the football.
Yeah.
A lot of self-induced errors, like killing yourself. Right. Trevor Lawrence made a shit ton of mistakes early, but it's a credit to the coaching. And they said it before the game. I believe it was Collinsworth's son who was doing the game before. He and Rodney Harrison were going back and forth. And he flat out said, I trust Doug Peterson, a guy who won a Super Bowl, over this guy. I know Rodney was pulling for the Chargers because he had a connection there with Asante Samuel Jr.
Yeah.
You know, his brother, his father, I should say, was a teammate of Rodney's during the famous 18-0 season where New England broke the regular season and playoff record for most consecutive wins. You know, they'll always be linked in history. So Harrison and Asante are both close. And what more can you say about in a losing effort? 3 interceptions by Asante Samuel Jr. You got to feel for that guy. You got to feel for certain guys on this Charger team. But they're at a crossroads because this was a team that when I'm looking at halftime, I'm like, damn, these guys could beat the Chiefs next week. They have a chance to beat them. And I keep going back to it's hard to beat a team 3 times. And that's what the Chiefs would have had to do. The Jaguars are back, man. First time since 2017 where they lost the title game to the Patriots. They're back for real. We saw them firsthand. We saw the potential that they had when we went out to Duval and won a hard-fought game. Trevor Lawrence is a superstar now. Make no mistake. He has arrived. Yeah. And when you think about Calvin Ridley joining the team now when he gets off his suspension, and the rumors that DeAndre Hopkins possibly could be in play to join Jacksonville, this is an offense that is mighty scary. And I was clowning on Evan Ingram when he was crying about where's the flag. And I said, well, the refs deemed it uncatchable.
Uncatchable.
Because it was thrown at Evan Ingram. But that dude has stepped up.
Yeah.
All joking aside.
Yeah, he did.
He has found a home in Jacksonville.
He did.
And good for him. No bad blood here. I like our current tight end. But Brett Idris, your thoughts on this massive collapse?
Number one,
biggest comeback in playoff history.
Number one, they cannot stop Jamar Chase in this drive. This guy is having a freaking drive. Number two, this collapse. It was very identical. Hence our text messages to the Houston Oilers collapse against Buffalo back in '92. I mean, these guys, they were up 27-0. 27-0. I give Jacksonville and I give Trevor Lawrence all the credit that is due. That they hung in, they persevered, and Jacksonville is one of those gritty, ballsy teams that you just don't want to see in the playoffs. I mean, I don't know about all that.
I don't know about all that. They don't have that reputation yet.
No, but they do. You saw it last night.
No, dude, they beat the Chargers. There's 2 sides of this.
When I get my chance, I'll dispute that.
An NFL playoff team in the playoffs.
Yes. And a lot of people beat those Chargers in the playoffs.
Richie, let him talk. I got him.
Oh, you got me. Hold on. I'm not done yet.
I know, but I got
nothing yet.
Well, if you're not done yet,
your boy Ingram, number one.
Okay.
I can't say nothing bad about that one. You've been busting that guy's chops for years and years and years.
With good reason.
ETN, guy's a machine. The guy's an X factor in every single game.
Okay.
He is an absolute playmaker.
Okay.
Trevor Lawrence, he persevered. He showed the poise that you're supposed to have as a NFL playoff quarterback in this league. Okay. I love what he did. He hung through. And it was just I I caught the last 8 minutes of it. I was getting into it, but man, that was just a hard fought battle for the Jags. I'm glad they won. I'm happy for Jordan, because he's been wanting the Jags to win for a long time, but I don't see him making it past the next round.
Okay.
Idris, please.
In the words of Skip Bayless, my turn.
Oh, Skip, you're off. No, you're not. You can't even talk.
You forgot who the coach is. This is the same coach who last
Thank you, sir.
The Raiders was like, look, we're trying to get you in the playoffs with us. And he blew it.
Yeah, he did. He really did.
Rivals was like, look, we got y'all.
They were playing for a tie.
We're going in together.
Yes.
Don't mess up. He blew it. Secondly, this is the same coach. It's the reason why they're number one receivers out. It's the same coach who played all his starters last week when they had nothing to gain, played all, and guess what? He got hurt. And the only way he'll be back is if they make it to the Super Bowl. Had they had him last night, they might have won. 3, he stopped coaching and defensive coordinator started coaching. If Jacksonville went up against Kansas City, Cincinnati, Buffalo, those 3 coaches are not going to stop coaching. Andy Reid, when he puts the points on you, he doesn't stop. Doug Peterson, we saw last night, even when he was at Philly, when he puts the points on you, he's not going to stop. I can't think about the one.
Belichick does the same shit.
Hold on, I'm not finished. In Buffalo, you see what Buffalo does when they put their foot on your necks. They're gonna choke you out. The Chargers had a reputation of blowing shit the past 2 years because the coach,
with all the games they've lost to you over the years,
the past 25 years,
the coach should be fired because obviously he's inept. You got to bring a guy who in there, in your man.
I'd bring Sean Payton in there. I'd go sign Josh Jacobs.
Sean Payton
recreate that 1-2 that they had with Ingram and Kamara
and in there. Because Payton's gonna put the foot on your neck.
That's right.
He's one of them. He comes from our tree, of course. He comes from our tree, and when we beat you, we're gonna beat
with the Giants.
Right. He came from our tree. Another one. So, but no, Jacksonville. Congratulations to them because I mean, God, 27-0.
No, they deserve the credit.
They deserved it. They earned it. But
before we start doing backflips for Trevor Lawrence, let's also give credit to that Jacksonville defense that held the Chargers to 3 friggin' points in the second half.
Because he wasn't
all the Chargers had to do was hit 2 field goals and they win. That's all they had to do.
The defense played great the whole game.
All they had to do was run the ball.
But the defense played great the whole game.
They didn't do that.
They are not a good running football team.
They're not good. Yeah, Jacksonville's defense played good the whole game. The reason they got behind is because they were put in a situation where they had to defend the short field each time.
Yeah,
because otherwise
because I don't necessarily think it was the Chargers' offense at any juncture of that game. They were constantly. Trevor Lawrence was like, "Here, guys, you want some touchdowns?"
It's just like that Tampa game.
You want some foosballs?
It's like that third quarter Tampa had a few weeks ago where they couldn't pass the 30-yard line, 40-yard line.
Yeah. It was like there was a weird magnetic field.
It was just like that.
Cincy just took the lead.
Okay.
Any other team? Tennessee. What do you mean?
They're going for 2.
Tennessee's not playing, man.
No, I said Cincy.
I thought you said Tennessee. My bad.
No, Cincy, and they're going for 2.
My bad. Any other team would have had Jacksonville like that, they'd have put the foot in them.
Yeah. I just hate stupidity when it comes to coaching, and this really
that was the dumbest of dumb.
Yes, and I'm happy that we closed the last of these games that we are going to cover before we hit on tomorrow's. This is great coaching. This was a great coaching matchup where the better team won. Shout out to Pete Carroll for getting a lot out of a roster that most people had as possibly being a bottom 5 team in the league. Yes. Some people even had them finishing worst. I raised my hand. I picked the Seattle Seahawks to be the worst team going into the season.
4 wins.
Idris made a great point. Zappy has alluded on it on previous shows. I think most NFL fans are buying into understanding that a big chunk of the Russell Wilson success was predicated off of Pete Carroll's system. Because when you see a journeyman like Geno Smith, he couldn't catch on with the Jets. He couldn't catch on with the Giants. He gets an opportunity with these guys. And for the first time in his career, not only holds down a job all year, but gets to the playoffs and makes a Pro Bowl. Awesome rookie in Kenneth Walker. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with for years to come. And the truth is, this Seahawks team holds their head up high. They had a lead at halftime, and in the end, what happened to them is going to continue to happen to a lot of teams. They ran into a buzzsaw because the 49ers, until somebody proves me wrong or Brett wrong, because Brett's pretty high on them in his own right, as is Zappy, as are a lot of football people, they may very well be the best team in this tournament. That will be revealed. And the best team doesn't always win. But right now, they are really good. And Brock Purdy, what I like about him, and this is just to speak on this kind of NFL weekend, you're talking about Mr. Irrelevant who's super relevant. He, Trevor Lawrence, Daniel Jones, all getting their first playoff wins over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
The only guy that's established that has won is Josh Allen in Buffalo, possibly Burrow tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But Kyle Shanahan is just such a damn good coach.
Yeah.
And when you have pretty much an answer for everything and anything, an answer for anything that somebody's going to throw at you, when you have Debo being able to go back to wide receiver, last year with the injuries, he had to play running back. You bring in a Christian McCaffrey. You have Mitchell as a nice change of pace guy. You have a top 5 tight end in Kittle. You have a good O-line. You run the ball with efficiency. You don't turn the ball over because everybody knows how to run that route tree. Brandon Ayuk, another awesome guy. And I didn't even mention the defense that's led by Nick Bosa. This team has everything you need to win a championship. It's ultimately going to come down to execution and finishing the job. And, looking at their immediate opponent, because the Giants are going to Philly, it's going to be either Tampa or Dallas. The only team next week that would have a chance of beating the 49ers, have an honest chance, is the Dallas Cowboys. There's history there. There's last year. There's a lot of seasons where these two have run into each other over the years. And if the Dallas defense shows up and plays their game, yes, they can hang. I will probably pick the 49ers, but they can hang. You don't want Tampa winning, because if Tampa plays the 49ers basically have a free ride to the NFC title game.
True.
And no offense to Tom Brady, they're just not that good this year.
Shouts out to myself. I said Brock Purdy will take this team to the playoffs.
You said playoffs, not the big dance.
Well, because you got to keep this when he first started. This when he first got when he played Garoppolo. I was like, Brock Purdy's going to. I asked Richie, didn't I say it?
Yeah, you did say that.
I did say it.
Certainly did. He certainly did.
I did. I said Brock Purdy's going to keep it going.
He also said that Eli Apple was going to get exposed.
I sure did. But
I mean,
this team.
Eli.
I'm gonna speak on Geno first. I think Geno's 32, 10th year in the year league, something like that. And
no guarantee where he's going next year.
Yeah, I gotta give him props because he really doesn't have much of a team around him either. But
not yet.
He shows so much maturity, man. And I think with Seattle, like I said, they got the number 5 pick. They got a whole bunch of stuff because
Geno's not guaranteed coming back, but Geno also has a market now.
Right, he has a market.
There are actually teams that want him now.
Right, he has a market. And you see what he can do if he has the right things around. And he's still.
You gonna tell me the Jets won't take him back with that shit show at quarterback they got over there?
That might be their best bet.
What prevented the Jets from going to the playoffs this year? Quarterback, because they got the best offensive wide receiver and the best defensive back for rookies.
They Geno didn't even have a lot of weapons around him, but he made good with what he had. He managed the game. He's a whole lot mature than because you know how he was when he came out of college. He was a crybaby. Got the big black eye.
The New York market wasn't the best place for him to be as a young guy, and I think Zach Wilson's learning that the hard way.
Right, he grew up.
It takes a special person to play
in New York,
in the big city. Yeah, you got to have the right demeanor.
Yeah, New York, Philly. Yeah, you better come. So, I think he did very well. Because I picked them to win 4 games because of Geno. Geno surprised me. Frisco. When you got Debo and Christian McCaffrey, and they both can do the same thing, golly,
scary.
And you got this young guy Purdy, who's like the way he feels like now is like, shit. I've been in this league 10 years. I mean, he's so hyped.
What he's doing right now, and the way that he has basically come from obscurity, is incredibly similar to what Tom Brady did in 2001 with the Patriots. And I mean, it's even got the similar ring. So his first start was against Tom Brady, and he won. And Tom Brady's first start was against Peyton Manning, and he won. And Peyton and Brady, the opponents of the storylines, were super established quarterbacks when all this stuff was going on.
Baltimore just tied it. But how cliche would it be, boys, if Brady had to play Brock in the NFC Championship game in Frisco?
It won't happen.
It won't happen.
It can't happen. He's going to play him next week if he
the way the
wins.
schedule set up. Yeah, but it would be messed up. But I mean, we talk about this for how long? What was championships?
Defense and running the ball.
And running the ball. San Fran does both.
Right.
They have the top defense in the league. And between McCaffrey and Debo, when they factor him in, and now you throw in Elijah Mitchell, those three guys, that's earth, wind, and fire.
What makes them most dangerous to me, even past all the great talent they have, because if we're just basing it on talent, those knuckleheads who lost in Duval yesterday have a lot of talent. You need to harness that talent with great coaching.
Duval.
And when you look at the great coach that Kyle Shanahan is, you can make an argument that he's the best coach in the league right now. Of course, Bill Belichick's always going to be in the conversation, always has to be. Sean McVay, off year for his team, not much of his doing. He's an excellent coach. He'll be back. You got the young coaches on the come up. Brian Dable in New York. Obviously, Nick Sirianni.
Saleh.
He did. Robert Saleh, another guy. And, of course, Mike Tomlin, a guy that sometimes we take for granted. Sometimes an Andy Reid, a guy that we take for granted as well. But ultimately, the point I'm making here is that you could have all the talent in the world, but without the right formula and without the right leader coaching these guys up, and that's why I am so emphatically saying you have to get rid of that clown with the Chargers. He's not the right guy. They have too much talent to be doing that shit in round one.
Right.
Especially when you get spotted almost a 4-touchdown lead.
No way they should have lost that game.
I'm still picking San Fran to run the table. Nobody can tell me otherwise at this moment.
So you got them winning the bowl is what you're saying?
Absolutely. I do.
Against the Bills still, or you softened your stance on the Bills?
I don't think the Bills are going to make it.
No. I'm still going to run with the Bills. I'm still staying my pick.
Okay. And we'll see how that plays out.
We'll see how it plays out, but I still pick San Fran to win the big dance. I just don't see anybody beating that defense and stopping that run. And the way Purdy is playing, he's playing mistake-free football. He has to be a game manager, which he's proven time and time again already. And he can make those clutch throws. And that's what you have to do. And that's what you have to do in these playoff moments. And I love what Denver's doing.
Play for player. Dallas could hang with them from a talent level. It's about execution, but Dallas does have a chance.
If Dak plays mistake-free football, then yes, they have a chance.
He doesn't have to be perfect. He has to be better. He doesn't have to be perfect.
Right. No, he has to be perfect.
I don't think he has to be perfect.
No, he doesn't.
You know what? I think where Dallas went wrong, the game plan they had with Cooper Rush is what they should have kept with Dak Prescott.
I agree with you.
When Dak got back in the game, they wanted to throw the ball all the time.
Yes.
They forgot how to
go back to running the rock because they can do it. And Tony Pollard and Zeke, the combination. Yeah, they got away from what was working early because you look at their win percentage with Rush versus their win percentage with Dak. And I'm not going to be an ignorant person and say that Rush is a better quarterback because he's not. But Dak led the league in interceptions, tied with Trevor Lawrence.
And he missed 5 games.
Dak, yes, he missed. That's like what? How? What?
Right. Missed 5 games.
Now, since we're talking about Dallas, Zappies, boys. Looking ahead to tomorrow's showdown. Monday night playoff football. The Cowboys making the trip to the Big Sombrero to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. How do we feel about this? I'll give you my short and sweet one. I don't have a whole lot to say. Basically, ball security, we've already alluded to it. It's important. A lot of people I see on social media say how Tampa's interior is going to struggle against the Dallas front line, which could be a possibility. Dallas is coming off a very disappointing end to their season, regular season, against Washington, a team that had nothing to play for. Now you look at Tom Brady, the first time he's ever made the playoffs with a losing record. But he has a home game, and we all know what the man is capable of with the big lights on. I'm going to sticking with my pick. Bucks by 2, 22-20 Tampa. 5 field goals and a touchdown will be enough. I have a feeling that Dallas defense will show up, but I also think the Tampa defense is going to show up. I would have to say that the matchup of the day is going to come down to Micah Parsons and D-Law, the combination of them, bum rushing the Tampa tackle. Not to mention the matchup with Diggs versus Evans. That is going to be a premier matchup and one that may very well decide the game. Bottom line, this is a weird one because from a coaching standpoint, I trust McCarthy more than Todd Bowles. But from a quarterbacking, big game, this is it level, I trust TB12 a lot more than Dak. So this is going to be an interesting game because something has to give. I will say this. If Tampa's going to win, they got to run the ball better because their running game has been non-existent. And I guess if Dallas is going to win, you got to commit more to the run like they did early in the year, like the point that Idris made. They got to recommit to what they do because the combination of Zeke and Pollard can be an awesome thing if they're deployed properly. But as of right now and going into tomorrow, haven't changed a thing about my score. Tampa 22, Dallas 20, and Tampa will take the ride out to San Francisco. Idris, Brett, your thoughts on tomorrow's game?
Well, I'm going 27-21 Tampa. Dallas doesn't play well on grass. And Diggs and Evans, Diggs gambles a lot. And you don't want to gamble with Tom Brady.
No, not that guy.
He gambles. And if you gamble against Brady going to Evans, you're going to get burned. It's going to all come down to how Parsons and D-Law rush Brady, man. Because
guy's a winner in the playoffs, man. Scary. You get that perfectly chiseled chin.
Look at that scruff.
Look at that scruff. The guy's great, man. I mean, listen. We are one of the few teams that can say we got the best of Tom Brady, but the bottom line is I still respect his ability in short sample sizes because he's not the player he used to be, but he's still a damn good quarterback. And one that you cannot take this away, the brain. He has the big game brain. Bretsky, your thoughts on this game tomorrow, dude?
Listen, TB12 is 7-0. 7-0 against Dallas in the playoffs.
Good point.
All right.
Good point.
And he's at home. Granted, both teams turn the ball over a lot. We can both agree on that.
Yes, we can.
They both turn the ball over a lot. I kind of agree with where Richie's going on this. Like it's going to be a field goal battle back and forth. You know, one team's going to score a touchdown, the other may. It's definitely going to come down to the last 5 minutes of the game. But I still think Tampa comes out on top. I'm going to say 26-23. You know, the last 2 minutes is going to decide the game. But it's going to come down to a turnover, and it's going to come down to, you know, who makes that, you know, that clutch catch and those long and, you know, third and long conversions. But I think Evans is going to win the battle on this one. Julio Jones might actually surprise you this game. I think he's going to have at least 7 catches for less than 100 yards, but those 7 catches are going to come in clutch moments.
All right. Zappy has just joined us. I'm sure he wants to say something about the Dallas Cowboys.
He is in the building.
Zappy, are you there? Or is that just a picture of where you could be?
Hey, I'm here. Sorry. What's going on, guys?
He got that.
That's his emoji.
Yeah. Zappy, 6 minutes. Have at it and leave me 3 minutes because I'm doing start bench cut.
Ooh.
Oh, well, you know, I'll start off with saying congratulations on the Giants. I mean, I got to tip my hat off to Mr. Daniel Jones because he played a phenomenal game today. That defense played great. I mean, they pretty much
start bench cut will be on our next video. We're going to roll a quick video after this. Sappy, continue.
But yeah, you know, I like the way the Giants played defense today. They did a really good job of containing Justin Jefferson, containing that running game. and really making Kirk Cousins uncomfortable most of the game. And, you know, they did have a chance to come down the field and tie the game, especially after that Darius Slayton drop. But all in all, you know, I was very impressed with this Giants team. And I think going into next week in Philly, you know, these Philly fans cannot get comfortable with this game. I know they swept y'all, but this Philly team can easily be beat. The Giants are riding a good high right now. So I'm just going to say that about the team. As far as the rest of the playoffs have gone, you know, the Bills game surprised me. I did not think Skylar Thompson was going to be able to battle with Josh Allen for 60 minutes, but, you know, he did. He hung in there. He did everything he could to make it close, but in the end, the better team won. I thought the Bills were going to win by a lot, but obviously Josh Allen made a couple mistakes here and there, and it led to a very close game in the end. We see
Zappy, I need your thoughts on tomorrow's Dallas showdown because I'm trying to get this start bench cut before we get out of here.
I already told you I've been back and forth with this game all week. You know, the whole Tom Brady is undefeated. Todd Bowles is undefeated against Dallas. And then I really broke down the game, and I broke down the Buccaneers as a team. There's two things that is bothering this Buccaneer team, and it's their inability to run the ball and their inability to stop the run. And when we look at week 1 Dallas versus wild card weekend Dallas, this is a completely different team to the point where they didn't have Michael Gallup. There was no T.Y. Hilton. Their starting receivers were Dennis Houston and Simi Fehoko. They didn't have Dalton Schultz in the lineup either.
What did you say to me?
Yeah, for real. Cursing us out.
And then the defense was a different team. So I definitely think Dallas, in order for them to win this game, they have to run the ball, and they have to run it often because they have a better running game than the Carolina Panthers. And we see what the Panthers and the Falcons were able to do to this Buccaneers defense. So I truly believe it's going to take a combination of 200 total yards from the offense to be able to defeat Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Tom Brady, the Bucs offense has not looked great. Yeah, they had one great game 2 weeks ago, but then, you know, everyone overjoys and blows it up. But where was it the rest of the year? I'm expecting a close one. I think Dallas will pull it off in the end. That was my eventual final decision. Just after breaking it down completely, I think Dallas will pull it off by that touchdown. But it's, you know, it's one of those that if Dak does come into this game and makes 2-3 mistakes, they're not going to win.
Okay, before we get out of here, start bench cut. It's going to be brief. You got to be quick with it. Give me 1 second. We are almost there. Yeah.
Hey, I got to send a shout out to Brett, though, watching Eli Apple get burned by Demarcus Robinson right now.
All right, fellas, hone in. I'm giving each of you 30 seconds because that's really all we got to play with. Idris, Daniel Jones, Zappy, Trevor Lawrence, Brett, Brock Purdy. Brett, you go first. Tell me why Brock Purdy is the best of these 3 young quarterbacks getting the first win. Go.
Just because, number one, he has a defense. Daniel Jones makes too many mistakes. Trevor, you know what? I'm gonna bench. I'm going to bench DJ.
I didn't ask you to bench anybody. I asked you to defend Brock Purdy.
All right. Well, I'm starting Brock Purdy because he makes less mistakes than those other 2 quarterbacks.
Anything else? Quickly. Anything else?
I mean, we'll see come playoff time. He's gonna win a championship this year, so we're good.
Idris, give me Daniel Jones. You got 30 seconds. Tell me why he's the best of these 3.
Daniel Jones has worked the whole season with a skeleton offense. Practice squad players that came off the bench, came out of the grocery store, came from the basement, the school janitorial place, blah, 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 blah. He has a 3-1 interception. I mean, touchdown.
Came from the trailer park. Yeah, you had it right. Yeah.
Only 5 interceptions this year. One of 3 players who's passed over 3,000 yards and rushed over 700 yards. He has a second highest play action rate of all quarterbacks. Second, number 2.
All right.
Number 2, bam.
What a fucking catch.
All right. Zappy, finish it off quickly here. Tell me why Trevor Lawrence is the guy.
It's never easy to come back after throwing 4 interceptions in the game. This is a guy that's doing it with Doug Peterson a year later. If you would have had Doug Peterson last year, this guy would be further advanced in his career. And so it only leaves the message of what's he going to be like next year with Calvin Ridley and another offseason with Doug Peterson. The guy's making the throws. He's running the ball. He's making the throws, and he's drastically improving, and he's showing why he was the number 1 pick in the NFL draft.
Zappy and Idris tie. Brett, I'm sorry you didn't give enough on that. Until next time, I am Richie. Shout out to Casual Convo. Thanks for having me on. I had a friggin' blast. We are out. Go Big Blue. Victory Monday.
Blue, baby.